put it on the side here, and add it to my notes. Edit, paste, file, save, and then to paste, drag it up, and enter. And one other thing that we can do is try Loom and see if Loom would work. So let's double click on Loom, see what happens. Integrated webcam. What is the integrated webcam exactly? I'm not sure. Oh. Okay, so this works too. So start recording. We're in business. Then I want to add to this bizarre, which is problem step recorder. Let's see if I can get that to work. Here it is, problem step recorder. Make sure it is set to 999 screens, which it is. Then I want to start a new recording. Then I want to add a comment. Paste to the video file. Now I want to add one more file to the mix, which is it from my Google Voice, because I have a Google Voice issue. So I want to open up the Google Voice drive. Let's see if I can pull out my document file. In my document file, I want to scroll down to Google Drive, or rather to Google Voice, because I have a Google Voice problem. So I want to go to letter G for Google Voice. G is after C, and after E, after F, here's Google Voice. Take the latest and greatest Google Voice. Let's see, where is this latest and greatest Google Voice? This is 3.6.25 today. It looks like this will not expire. So let's open this one up. I'm going to the very top of it. I'm going to add new area that is segregated by, let's say, greater than and smaller than. So less than first, then the video file name, edit, paste, then greater than, multiple greater than, to segregate it from the rest of my notes. Now I need to go to the client. So I want to open another browser. Let's see if I can find the email client. In the email client, I want to look for Google Voice. Google Voice, and I have 3 Google Voice for 30 days messages. Okay, we start from run lanyard and open it up, or run you happy AI. Okay, so that is it. Run you happy AI, copy to the clipboard, and then we'll paste the message right in front edit, paste. Then I want to log into the account, run you happy AI. So I want to delete this file, then copy the account name, run you happy AI to the clipboard buffer, then open another instance and trying to log to this account. So I scroll down to the bottom, select add another account, also I can make this a little larger. One more time, go to the very bottom and select add another account, then paste the account name, then go, oh, run you happy AI, okay, then the next, okay, and then the next, then I'm logged in. I don't want to do anything else, so I say not now. But what I do want to do is I want to set up a Google Drive in this name. First of all, I want to verify that I'm in the right account. I want to copy this to the clipboard buffer, copy, paste, then I want to paste it twice. So one time I have the email, then I'm modifying it by placing a open paren at the beginning, and then another open paren after the run. So it reads run you happy AI. And now I want to create a Google Drive. And I'm not sure how do I create a Google Drive on the desktop. So let me see if it has Google Drive extension, desktop. Well, let's look at it. Desktop Google Drive. Desktop. Desktop Google Drive. Download. Desktop Google Drive download. Install Drive for desktop. Oh, it's already learning center. Get started with Drive for Google Workspace. Now this is Workspace already. Add files and folders, install Drive for desktop. So I want to install Drive for desktop. How do we install Drive for desktop? That is the question. Install and open Drive for desktop. Okay, install and open Drive for desktop. Google Drive setup exe on Windows. Okay, this is what I want. Follow on-screen instruction. Ask your administrator. Tick for Windows at the bottom right of the screen. At the bottom right of the screen. Where's the bottom right of the screen? set up sync. Manage how local storage you can use where your content is located. Back to the top. When you install Drive for desktop on your computer, it creates a drive on my computer on a location, finder name Google Drive. All your Drive files appear there. Any new files, folders you create in Drive, click Drive for desktop, click your name in My Drive or Share Drive, double click if you want to open Google Doc Sheets, Drive for desktop, where do I click it? Is it Drive for desktop? Windows at the bottom right of the screen. Print, save, learning, center. Print, learning, center, and guides. Learn more at the Drive Help Center. The Find Drive for desktop menu. Tip: you might not be able to use Drive for desktop. The organization might install it for you if you have version as the administrator. Download for Windows. Okay, download for Windows. Did you download anything? I don't know. So we'll go to the download subfolder. File Explorer, download, Google Drive setup. So let's copy to the clipboard buffer. Control C to copy, then paste it in my notes. Control V, let's run it. Say one is administrator. Show more details. Download, okay. Hide details. No, don't hide details. Run as administrator. Okay, let's do that. Run as administrator. Show details. Yes. Version of Google Drive is already installed. Okay. So what else can I do now? Desktop app, Google Drive. Scroll. Okay, so run Google Drive. Yes. Open file on your desktop. Set up sync. Desktop. Set up sync. Okay. Export Drive for desktop. Top. Did I miss anything?
Struggling to build your sales pipeline? Finding the best prospects feels impossible? Meet Katie, your AI SDR agent. Katie.
Setting up Google Drive desktop. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for AskLeo.com. In many of the articles that I've written about OneDrive, and there have been many, I often say that it's similar to other tools like Dropbox, Google Drive, and others. In this video, I'm going to set up one of those similar tools, Google Drive. When we're done, it'll synchronize with the cloud and with any other PCs running the Google Drive desktop app signed into the same Google account. Here's the goal. It's really easy to get confused about what these applications do, so I want to start by clarifying where we're headed. The word to remember is synchronization. There will be a Google Drive folder on your computer and a Google Drive online in your Google account at drive.google.com. The Google Drive desktop app has a very simple job. Keep them in sync. That means, I'm going to be super explicit here, if a file is added to your PC's Google Drive folder, it's automatically uploaded to the same location in Google Drive Online. If a file is added to Google Drive Online, it's automatically downloaded to the equivalent location in your PC's Google Drive folder. If a file in your PC's Google Drive folder is changed, the updated copy is automatically uploaded to the same location in Google Drive Online. If a file in Google Drive Online is changed, the updated copy is automatically downloaded to the equivalent location in your PC's Google Drive folder. If a file in your PC's Google Drive folder is deleted, the file is deleted from your Google Drive Online. If a file in Google Drive Online is deleted, that file is deleted from your PC's Google Drive folder. This is so incredibly important to understand. I often hear from people who delete a file on their PC and are distressed and dismayed to find that it's been deleted online as well. That is the whole point. That is synchronization at play. If that's not what you want, then you're not supposed to be using Google Drive. Google Drive is all about synchronization. I'm going to start by showing you Google Drive Online. All we really need to do is go to drive.google.com, sign in with our Google account. For this example, it's askleotest@gmail.com with a password. And I have two-factor authentication turned on. Since I don't yet have a passkey installed on this machine, we'll have to get a verification code via a phone number. And we're in. So what we have here is Google Drive in the cloud, drive.google.com. You can store files and folders here. You can have all sorts of things up here. It's just a place to store files. And by default, the free accounts come with 15 gigabytes of available space. You can see here I actually have 3 files. I have a document, a PDF, and another document. Remember that for what happens next. Next up is the Google Drive desktop app for Windows. We're going to download that from a specific place. I've got a redirection to it here because it's kind of an odd place. It's actually buried in the support information or help center for Google Drive. We're going to install and set up Drive desktop for Windows. We'll download it. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Go ahead and run it. Yes. Do you want an application shortcut on your desktop? That's totally up to you. Add desktop shortcuts to Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Normally I don't, but because it's not quite what you think, I'm going to go ahead and install these, and we'll see those in a minute when we're done. Google Drive successfully installed. Yay! We'll go ahead and launch. Now we're not done yet, of course, because we still have to configure it for our account. So we'll go ahead and get started. Sign in. And that will be the same account that we used before. If you're not already signed in, you may be asked to sign in with a specific account. But in this case, since we are already signed in because we took a look at drive.google.com first, we don't have to go through that step again. Let's sign in. Success, we signed into Google Drive. We can close that window and now go back to the Google Drive app, which is in the process of setting up. Now, we're going to not do a number of things here in setup. And I'll try and explain why. Most everything I chose not to do are things we can do later. What I want in this example is the simplest, most straightforward installation of Google Drive. So, we are not going to sync these additional folders, desktop, documents, and downloads. If this sounds familiar, this is very similar to OneDrive's backup, but it's done much better than OneDrive's backup. And honestly, it's one of the reasons that I tend to suggest Google Drive over OneDrive if this is the kind of thing you're trying to back up. The important thing to realize, however, is that these choices, these folders that you list here, are in addition to a folder that will be created specifically for Google Drive. So by not choosing any of these, we're still using Google Drive. There will still be a Google Drive folder. You don't have to choose these. We'll go ahead and skip. Now, it also suggests backup Google Photos. The difference is, for everything other than a photo, what I described earlier about synchronization applies. If you make a change in one place, it gets reflected in the other. As you can see here, it states that when you back up photos, it's not a synchronization, it's a backup. And if you make a change to a file, if you make a change to a photo on your PC, it will get uploaded as a new file. It's really confusing, and I'm not going to turn it on. This is the explanation, but I am going to skip this as well. Now notice you can choose two different folders. Fine, whatever. We're not going to do either of those. Notice in this case that it's actually suggesting a OneDrive folder for pictures. That's a combination of the fact that, yeah, I've got OneDrive installed on this machine, and my guess is its backup is already turned on. So we're not going to turn on either of these. And I actually do recommend this until we fully understand exactly what the implications are. So, skip. That's it. We have pretty much installed Google Drive Desktop. We'll go ahead and click on Next.
Our resolution rate was high. Like out of the gate, it was between 50 and 60% almost right from the very beginning. Neo has been awarded the fastest growing company in Canada and the fastest growing tech company in Canada 2 years in a row. And so you can imagine with that kind of scaling and the number of new customers we get every year, we needed to look for ways to help customers in a very efficient and cost-effective way. We saw 50% reduction in agent-first interactions across all of our channels. The answer has gone from where it was close to 10 minutes, and now we're down under 2. I think we could make it a fair statement that all of us are pretty emotionally attached to our money. And one of the things that Ada allowed us to do was to get that instant response to when customers ran into friction and start to build that trust and loyalty. Because we're so new, we've always had the design principle to push them back into the app or the website so that the next time they can just, effortlessly go and do it themselves. The education part is phenomenal in the AI agent. Another more complex thing that it does a really good job of is transaction disputes. So we have a way inside of our digital experience to be able to dispute a transaction, and it is good about walking.
This is explaining what offline files are about. Very much like OneDrive has its download on demand feature, this is essentially the same thing with a different name. While your files will be listed in the Google Drive folder, as we'll look here in a minute, the contents won't actually be downloaded by default. Now, as soon as you open a file in this condition, Google Drive will download it. So it'll act as if the file were on your PC. You don't change your behavior. But the difference is that there'll be a slight delay while the file is being downloaded, depending on how large the file is. And unless you've downloaded the file by trying to open it, the data is not on your PC. Therefore, the data won't be backed up if that's what you were counting on. So we'll go ahead and open Drive. Well, it didn't open Windows File Explorer, so we'll go ahead and open File Explorer ourselves. And you'll see now that in addition to this, there's the OneDrive folder, but now we have this thing called Google Drive. And if we look at it, we can see a couple of interesting things. Google Drive has been assigned a drive letter. So there's G. That's where you'll find your Google Drive. In that drive, you'll find something called My Drive. My Drive, we'll double click on it, is the contents of your Google Drive online. And you can see, here we have those same three things we were talking about when we looked at drive.google.com. In fact, if I go ahead and go back to that,
Welcome to the Google Help YouTube channel. Whether you're new to Google or you're a seasoned user, we're here to make sure you get the most out of all the products and features available to you. From search to Gmail, Maps to Google Play, we provide clear, helpful, and step-by-step support.
You can see here that we have those 3 documents online at drive.google.com and referenced on our PC in this Google Drive drive. So here are our files in Google Drive in both places, in the cloud and on our PC, possibly without their data yet having been downloaded. We want to change that. We'll right-click on the file, and unfortunately, we'll have to click on Show More Options because in Microsoft's wisdom, while they show us the OneDrive options that may or may not be available for this thing, we have to go deeper to see the Google Drive options. And in fact, we can change the offline access for this file. You'll notice that it currently says online only. That means when we open the file, the data for that file will be downloaded right then and there. If we want it to be available offline, we'll click on that. Now you'll notice that the cloud icon for this file has changed to a checkmark. The file's data actually lives on our hard drive. Again, you use the file exactly the same way. The only difference is whether or not the data lives on your hard drive or whether it has to be downloaded from Google Drive at the time you use it. Okay, the thing that's a little bit weird about this, I suspect, is that it's actually set up a different drive, the actual drive letter for this. And if you go looking for your Google Drive files somewhere on your hard drive, they're kind of hard to find. They're buried somewhere down in app data, if I'm not mistaken, in some kind of a cache. However, and this is something that's not obvious from the setup process at all, you might be able to change that. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and we'll go ahead and minimize the browser for the moment. One of the things that got added as part of the setup is down here in the notification area, we have a Google Drive icon. If I click on it, I have the opportunity to view some settings. We're going to go ahead and open the options menu and click on preferences. Now, we do not need to take the tour. Again, this is the adding folders, the documents, desktop folders that I talked about earlier. We're not going to do this. We're going to keep this as simple as possible. However, clicking on Google Drive actually gives us something to think about. We have the option to stream files, which is the default. That's what sets up the G drive. And that's what basically defaults everything to being from the cloud. However, what I prefer to do, if you have the disk space for it, is to mirror files. You can see here that streaming uses less hard drive space because, of course, all the files are kept online unless you need them or unless you specify that they should be kept on the machine. Mirror is what you probably more or less expect from Google Drive. So if I click on Mirror, now it's going to say, hey, rather than using the drive, G:, it's going to store these files in users, Ask Lee, which is my current username, my drive. We'll confirm the location. Now we'll hit Save. Of course, Google Drive has to restart to make this significant of a change. You can see that the icon is gray while it does so, and then it comes back. All right, we'll click on it. We'll hit Preferences once again, and we are now looking at mirrored files. What does that mean? Well, if we fire up Windows File Explorer, we have my drive as a folder. In fact, if you take a look at the full path, it is exactly as promised. Users, AskLee, my drive. There's no question about whether it's in the cloud or not. Everything in this folder is mirrored, is synchronized exactly the way I described when we started. If you have enough disk space for the contents of your Google Drive, this is typically what I recommend, because this way you're sure that everything is on your PC and everything is in the cloud. Now you'll notice that there's still this other Google Drive G that's listed here. If I click on it, that says My Drive, and it still shows that stuff. This may or may not remain for you. Technically, this is the drive, but you'll notice that if I do click on the drive, it goes back to the actual folder in my user account. If I go to this PC, you can see that, yeah, there's a Google Drive G. If I go there, that's exactly the same thing. What has happened is the G drive remains, but instead of being a completely separate drive, ultimately, my drive just points to the real drive in your user folder on your PC. Now, hopefully, that's clear. Bottom line here is use mirroring, and you'll have a complete copy of your entire Google Drive on your PC, in a folder, in your users folder, as well as at drive.google.com. Now, let's talk about Google Docs, shall we? You'll notice that this is a PDF file. And in fact, since I currently don't show extensions, I'm going to go ahead and show that so that you can see what we're looking at here. A GDoc file is a Google Doc. But
gabapentin is bringing you closer to amputation. These are 3 symptoms that are signaling that you could be close to losing your foot.
Google Docs do not have an offline representation. In fact, you'll notice that the GDoc file is very small. It's 1 kilobyte compared to the 3 megabytes that the PDF is taking up. Now, the PDF, of course, is going to be larger than the original document, but nonetheless, that's quite the difference. It's not nearly enough to contain the entire document. That's because Google Docs kept in Google Drive are not actually kept in Google Drive. Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google Slides are all online only. Yes, there is something in Google Drive, but it's a shortcut. If I double click on Internet Safety v6 free.gdoc, what happens is it fires up my browser and opens up that file in docs.google.com online. That's the only place that document lives. There, like I said, there is no such thing as an offline representation for a Google Doc. There is only online. So that is one thing that can be fairly confusing. Even here, there's a shortcut that says Internet Safety v6 free. This is online. But even then, if I double click on it, it's again opening up docs.google.com to actually go to the file. So be aware that for all of the files you might throw into your Google Drive, the Google Docs files, the Google Sheets files, the Google Slides files, you'll only see a shortcut there. Actual file itself will continue to remain online and only online. Everything else, exactly as you expect. That's Google Drive. Now, since this has been a bit of a, I won't call it a bumpy road, but I realize that there's a lot of confusing concepts here. In addition to this video, I'm going to suggest that you have a look at the companion article, askleo.com/176266. It essentially is presenting the same information, but in written form. That may be easier to take your time over and understand. But at its most fundamental, Google Drive, really powerful. Google Drive includes 15 gigabytes of free storage, which is more than actually some of the other options, including OneDrive. While you can't always access Google Drive online, running the app on your PC can make it much more transparent. Again, for updates, for comments, for links related to this topic, for a written version, visit askleo.com/176266. Hope this was helpful. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is AskLeo.com. Thanks for watching.
go to telephony or voice. I'm gonna enter. All of the answers.
Hi, I'm ChatGPT, an AI assistant. Just so you know, our conversation may be reviewed for safety. By continuing this call, you agree to OpenAI's terms and privacy policy. So, how can I help you today?
Help me figure out Google Drive, how to mirror Google Drive to my current account, which is Run You Happy AI, which is a vanity phone number that spells a domain name and a business theme about being happy using AI.
Ah, I see. You want to mirror Google Drive to your current account, Run You Happy AI, which is tied to a phone number, spelling out a domain name and business theme about happiness and AI. To mirror Google Drive, you'll likely need to use a third-party service or script to sync the content between accounts. It's a bit technical, but definitely doable. Would you like some tips on how to get started with that?
No, first of all, I want to see the local desktop G,
Got it. You want to
the local desktop G drive for my account on my desktop with a file explorer in Windows.
Got it. You want to see your Google Drive in File Explorer on your Windows desktop. For that, you can use the Google Drive for Desktop app. Have you installed it yet?
Yes, I've installed it, but I cannot see it on the File Explorer. And when I try to run it, it says that it is installed already. And before I had the Drive G, and the Drive G disappeared, and I want to restore it.
Sounds like it could be a glitch with the Google Drive for Desktop app. Have you tried restarting your computer? Sometimes a simple reboot can resolve these sorts of issues.
Yes, when I restarted it, it disappeared. That's the problem. And now I cannot reinstall it because it says that it is installed already. Yet when I'm looking for it, I cannot find it. And when I try to reinstall it, I guess I can uninstall it and then reinstall it. But I'm not sure even how to uninstall it.
Exactly. Try uninstalling it first, and then reinstall it. That should give you a clean slate to work with. If the uninstaller doesn't appear in your list of programs, you might need to use a third-party uninstaller tool to remove it completely.
There is also supposed to be an icon on the bottom right corner of the screen for Google Drive, and I don't see it. And
No worries. To uninstall, go to Control Panel, then find Programs and Features.
look for Google Drive for Desktop in the list. If it's there, select it and click Uninstall. If you don't see it, let me know and we'll try another method.
Okay, let me go there and I will try to see if I can find it. So bear with me for a minute as I'm trying to go there. And then I want to log into the Google Drive on the web and see if I can, from there, I can download a document that will go to my local Google Drive. What do you think? So I went there and I didn't
That's
find...
right. There should be a Google Drive icon in the system tray. Since it's missing, it might not be running properly. Let's try uninstalling it through the control panel, as I mentioned earlier. If it's not in the list, we may need to try a different approach.
Yeah, I went to check and it is not on the list. And I'm trying a different approach. I figured I'll log into the Google Drive icon online and maybe I can find something there. So I'm going to the waffle and then I scroll down to Drive. On the waffle it has a little icon that is called Drive somewhere and I'm looking for it right now and I cannot find my Google. Here it is, Drive, and I click on Drive. And now I will click on upload and see whether when I try to upload, maybe somehow it will appear. So I'm going to new, I click on new, then I click on folder upload, then I'm going to paste the folder name that I want to upload, paste it on the folder input field, and just keep the subfolder, which is Google Voice. And I delete everything else and I hit enter, and then I click upload. I hit enter again to upload it, and then upload yet again. And finally it asks me if I want to keep both or replace. I say keep both and upload again. And it says that it is uploaded 359 files.
Sure, take your time. Uninstall Google Drive for Desktop first, then log into Google Drive on the web. You can download
So now it says 1 minute left, and it is going to, it takes a little while.
I'm right here. How's it going?
It's going well so far. It still says less than a minute left. And I wonder how can I download, now that I have it in my Google Drive online, how can I download it to the local Google Drive? You know? I'm now in my Google Drive online for this account. How can I download it to the local desktop in my Drive? Do you know? When I clicked on download, it says zipping one file, preparing download. Download ready, and I want to open it.
Okay, you didn't find it in the control panel. Let's try another way. Sometimes the app might need to be repaired or reinstalled using a different method. Could you try searching for Google Drive in the Start menu? If it appears, try running it from there, or right-click and see if you can find an uninstall option.
I have some Who has access? Manage access. I don't know what is manage access. Owner, done, and copy link, and done. Manage access. Keep, calendar, contact, get add-ons. What add-ons do I need? It is Google Drive. You have any idea? It's very confusing. List sync with tech. Sync with tech, list path and directory. List your Google Drive. Google Workplace Marketplace. I'm going to go to folder information, so folder location, spreadsheet. Drive D or what is that? My drive. Share, download. Email. Add to start. Drive wants to download multiple files. Allow. Open with Google Doc text editor. Structure. Add more apps. version of Google Drive is already installed. Download. What's in history? Reference. Google Server. Manage a Google account. Customize your Chrome profile. Import bookmark settings. Okay. Home security. Start on language. Insert. Extension. down to run APA on. copy to the clipboard buffer. Then I'm going to go to the bottom here. Comment, we don't let me put the comment, maybe they do. There is no. Already edited summary. Go down. And check please. Check please. Okay, so we're starting.